In my last video, we saw one of the reasons of market failure. What is market failure? The free market will fail to keep the public happy. So, the government will intervene, and once the government intervenes, the economy will become a mixed economy from a free market economy. So, the first reason why a government intervened was maximum price. Okay, first reason why the government intervened was when there is a high price maintained in the market. So the government will intervene through issuing a maximum price. The maximum price is the price that is set below the market price. Today we will study when another instance when a government intervenes. So another reason why a government intervenes is when the prices are too low. Now, what's the problem with prices being too low? When the prices are too low, the suppliers will not be able to get a profit. When the suppliers aren't able to get a profit, the public will be unhappy. Why? The suppliers are part of the public. Therefore, government now has to look after these suppliers, look after whether the suppliers can make a profit. So, how will the government intervene? The government will intervene with a minimum price. What is a minimum price? A minimum price is a price that is set above the market price. So in this case, OP is the market price and OP1 is the price that is set by the government. That is the minimum price that is set by the government. So minimum price is a price that is set above the market price. One of the problems with minimum prices is it creates excess supply, which we will study in the future chapters. So that's with minimum price. Then another reason why the market fails and why the government intervenes into the free market is because of negative externality. Now what is this thing called negative externality? Negative externality means the external cost of a private transaction. What do I mean by that? For example, tell an individual smokes for 30,000 rupees per month. An individual smokes for 30,000 rupees a month. So, what is the private cost of this transaction? It is 30,000. The individual pays to Ceylon Tobacco Corporation 30,000 and smokes the cigarettes monthly. What is the social cost? The social cost is also 30,000. What do I mean by that? Because this customer is part of the society. Then the cost to the society is also 30,000. So there won't be any problem for the government to intervene into the free market when the private cost is equal to social cost. But I will have one problem. When this individual smokes, if the next door auntie inhales the smoke, that is the next door auntie passively smokes and she gets cancer, she will have to go to a hospital and get herself cured and tell if this costs 50,000. Okay, so the individual smokes for 30,000 and because of him the next door auntie inhales the toxic smoke and she will have to cure herself for 50,000. She will have to cure herself for 50,000. So, what is the private cost of the transaction? The private cost is 30,000. What is the social cost of the transaction? The social cost is the 30,000 of the private cost of the consumer of smoking the cigarette, as well as the 50,000 of the cost that the auntie has bear in order to get her cancer treated. So the total social cost created due to this transaction is 80,000, but the private cost is 30,000. So the market has failed. The market has failed to keep the next door auntie happy because she is paying for the mistake for which she was no part of the transaction. So she is paying for the mistake for which she is not the reason. So the market has failed and the market is unfair for the auntie. Now, the government watches this and the government intervenes. How will the government intervene? The government will intervene and tell the cigarette smoker, look, because of you, this lady is having to get herself treated for 50,000. So I will have to tax you to tax you 50,000 in order to pay her medical bill. So the government introduces a tax system to the smoker so that the mistake with the smoker did is cured. Okay, so now in this case the price, so remember this negative externality is when social cost is higher than the private cost. And how will the government intervene with the negative externality? Government intervenes with the tax. So the free market economy, which was 100% private owned, will become a what? Mixed economy when the government intervenes. Thank you very much, guys.